Fetching a stream. Oh, there's finally fetching a stream. Good.
Should I be starting, like, start stream on here before I get the code for this?
No.
Or does it really matter? I do it last, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thought maybe that was
Hey, there we are. Welcome to the show.
We're not live yet.
We're not live yet?
No.
Okay.
You ready to go? I take it.
Yeah, do the countdown. Put the countdown timer on. So we actually are working today. Yeah, we're working. It's Monday. We always work. So I'm gonna get set up over here. This is our pre-show. We usually spend about 10 minutes trying to get our poop together and wait for you guys to come on and give me your questions and that sort of stuff. Yes, I'm sporting a brand new haircut today. Hey, Rudy, glad to see you. And Glenn Jones is here. Welcome, Glenn. Today we're talking about nozzles. So we're going to get into that in about 9 minutes. Sporting my new do.
Coming in perfectly right now. So.
And having my coffee. Heath Tompkins, welcome, sir. This is the time of day that I get to welcome people, is when we do the pre-show. And for whatever reason, everything is working today. I don't know why. It's weird. Glenn says he just made his print center in his closet.
Closet?
Yeah. So I guess that means that his printer's in the closet. Hasn't come out yet. And Heath says, good morning. Heath is from down under. He's over in with the koalas and the kangaroos and the other stuff. And Rudy says, I look slick. Thank you very much, Rudy. Roy just joined us. Welcome, Roy. I'm also going to check over on YouTube so I can see what's going on over there. And letting people know that what's an O-poop? What do you do?
It takes just the lag sometimes between here and the actual internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could be 15, 20 seconds.
Easily. I guess I have to go to my own channel. There I am. I'm live. We got 3 people over here watching. So I can now see everybody's comments over here on. We have Morgan, we've got Joshua, we got Daniel, we got Derek. Hi, everybody. I am watching. I'm bouncing back and forth, so I can see your comments on Facebook and on YouTube today. So we're going to be talking about these guys today. Oh, that's not what I want to do. I want to go over here. We'll talk about these guys today. Nozzles, different nozzles. We have some different sizes. We've got all kinds of fun stuff there today. So, oh, Geraldine Ham says, what about me? Honey, I'll be home later. Deal with that later.
I finally get to watch you.
Morgan says, knock on wood. She's actually, this is the first time my wife is actually watching the live stream.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool. And wow, we got Dan Doherty over here. We've got David Foster. Good afternoon, David. You and I have some discussion we have to get into off camera at another time. And we got Frank, of course. We got Frank. We always have Frank. Frank's over there. Frank's the one who's producing the show. So we've got him. So I'm going to bounce back and forth between. Yes, I do need more monitors, Morgan. Yes, I do, but I'm running it off a laptop, so I can't have too many. All right, so. All right, so we got, why do we still have 9 minutes? Did it,
Oh, when I switched.
he reset the time.
When I did the.
We only have 6 minutes. We might even start early, what the heck? What the heck, we might start early.
Trying to ruin the countdown, trying to be funny. We got 5 minutes left.
Yes, I do need more monitors, that is a for sure. I definitely need
Should I
more.
take the countdown off there?
Joshua says, whoops, reset the timer. Yeah, David Foster, stick around or call me later and we'll talk either through Messenger or what have you. I want to talk to you about a couple things. Gordon Hart, hello, sir, welcome. Yeah, it's kind of strange because we had a great weekend. I spent some time with my wife. I got out to see Justice League finally. Really enjoyed it. I got myself a new coffee cup. See, on this side, it has my father. And on this side, it says, now I'm the master. My wife said I can't keep this cup at home because I'm not the master at home. So tomorrow, we are going to be at Trotec for the whole day. We're going to be filming over there tomorrow so that we can give you guys next week's episode, which is a tour of Trotec. And Trotec Laser Canada sells laser engravers and cutters and all kinds of nifty things. So we're going to go over there and get some education. We're going to cut some things, and we're going to talk about some of the products that they have over there. So it should be a lot of fun. We're going to get a real good tour. So it'll be one of the more ambitious editing projects. We're taking 2 cameras with us tomorrow. What else are we doing? We're taking the 2 cameras. We have 4 minutes to go, and we're going to be filming lots. We're going to do some slider shots. We're going to do some really cool photography while we're over there tomorrow. And let's you guys have an email address so we can reach out. Yes, we do have an email address, and I guess the best email address, and I can't put it up on the screen, but I'll get Frank to put it in the comments both on Facebook and on YouTube. That way you guys can get in touch with us. That's something I keep forgetting to put down in the comment or in the description of the show down below is our address. So I apologize for that.
I've been putting it.
Our email address.
Oh.
Yeah, I keep forgetting to put our email address in, and I haven't set up emails yet for the first layer. So here's just take it up right off of there, Frank.
Oh.
Just take it right off of there. So Frank's going to put our email address down in the comments. So Jamie, hello, how are you? I'm going to go back over here and look at Derek Boudreau. I said hello, Joshua. Yeah, okay. Well, actually, I didn't get the haircut to look good for my wife. I want to do some pictures for Christmas this year of my wife and I, and she just got her hair cut, all of them, not just one. And I decided I was looking too much like a shaggy hippie. I was beginning to start to look homeless without a hat on, so even with a hat on, I looked homeless. So I decided I would get my hair cut, and then my wife and I could have some nice Christmas pictures done. So can you get it? Oh, can you put it over in the comments over on YouTube as well?
Yes.
Thank you. Nice card case, Daniel says. Yes, actually, I printed that out. This is on Thingiverse. It's the Star Wars crate, I think it's called. So go to Thingiverse, print that out, and fits. You can put quite a bit of stuff in there. I don't think it's really meant for business cards, but I like it. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. Just got voluntold.
Joshua West, Frank just got voluntold.
I don't voluntold them. I never voluntold. I just say do it.
It's a vol in demand.
Yeah, it's a vol in demand.
Okay, we are
Okay.
getting ready here.
All right.
It's probably ready to go.
So let's run that intro.
Intro, and here we are.
All right, so hey, welcome to the show. My name is Richard Cleveland, and I'm your host here on Coffee with Rich every Monday and Friday. And this is our live stream for the First Layer, and we talk all about the world of 3D printing, and sometimes we just talk about other things. You know, whatever kind of floats our boat at the time. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing to our Facebook and YouTube page. All you got to do is just hit that subscribe button on YouTube. It's the First Layer is the channel name. And make sure that you hit that little bell as well for notifications. So you get notified every time that we're doing a live stream or that we're doing a uploaded show, a regular recorded show. So got that out of the way. Today we're talking about nozzles. Why would we be talking about nozzles? Because we're kind of continuing on that little vein that we've been talking about with the different types of filament, if you've been with us, and the different hot ends and what makes up an all metal and what doesn't make up an all metal. So we are going to do that. Hey Richard, do you still do an airbrush for painting? Yes, I do. And there is the lovely Belinda Blasky has joined us on today's show. I love Belinda. She's one of my favorite people. And unfortunately, I don't get to talk to her as often as I'd like to. But let's keep going. So we're talking about nozzles today. And the nozzles that we're going to talk about, I'm just going to switch cameras here and we'll just go to those now. Let's see here. I got to get Frank to do this for me. So on the table, you can see that we've got 4 brass nozzles, we've got a stainless steel, and we've got a hardened steel. And I'll tell you the differences between these. Let's start with the brass ones. There's 4 basic sizes to brass. There is a 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter, a 4 millimeter, and a 5 millimeter, or point, let me redo that. 0.2 millimeter, 0.3, 0.4, and 0.5 millimeters. Those are your most common sizes. Most printers today come with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle as a sort of a de facto standard. And those nozzles really are sort of your everyday sort of nozzle. They can take most materials at 1.75. And they're basically your all-around general purpose nozzle. Now some machines come with a 0.3 or a 0.35 millimeter nozzle. And the difference between the two is pretty much negligible. Now these are all brass nozzles here. If you want to print something very detailed and don't care about the time that it takes to print that particular piece, then a 0.2 nozzle is the nozzle that you're going to want to go with. You do again have to watch your settings. Again, the width of the length of plastic that you're laying down, the height, you really have to be careful because you can clog a 0.2 nozzle very, very quickly. And I don't want you guys doing that because then you'll say, "Ah, you told me to use a 0.2. No, for me, everything I do, I print with a 0.40 nozzle. The only time I go up into a higher nozzle, like the 0.5, is when I'm printing with wood filament. And you really shouldn't print the wood filament with a brass nozzle because you will clog that nozzle fairly quickly because of the fibers in the filament. I'm just kind of checking out all of the different different comments here. I'm trying to watch the comments as well as talk to you guys. So going up to a 0.5, you can print wood filament with, which is probably the best one to go with. And if you look online, they're going to tell you, I don't know how well that's showing up on there, but on that nozzle, let me see if I can turn it a little bit more. There we go. On that nozzle, you can see that it says 0.05.
It's upside down.
Oh, okay, I got it upside down, Frank tells me. Okay, there we go. So you can see 0.05 on that nozzle. Now, that has a little, what that means is that's the opening on the end of the nozzle. So that's 500 microns or 0.5 of a millimeter of an opening, okay? So it's a little bit less than, actually it's a little bit more than a quarter of 1.75 millimeter filament, okay? And the 0.4, as you can see there, it's got a little bit of a smaller hole, not by much, and I mean negligibly it's different. But again, this is going to be the nozzle that you get with most of your machines, and most of your machines are going to be a brass. Now these are all Mark 8 nozzles with the exception of this black one. That is an E3D nozzle, a genuine E3D. Mark 8 is typically what you're going to find in most printers today, Mark 8 or Mark 10, as far as the extruder goes. So these are plentiful, and brass nozzles are very inexpensive because they do wear out and you can go through them very quickly. Let me go back over here. So you can go through them very quickly, and that can be a problem when you're trying to use different filaments. I've successfully printed ABS, PLA, and PETG with a brass nozzle. Because those filaments don't have any kind of fillers in them or abrasive fillers, much like the metals do, or the glow-in-the-dark or carbon fiber or any of those types of filaments. Brass nozzle is your kind of your everyday kind of nozzle for most of the stuff that you're going to do. Stainless steel nozzle, let me go back and I'll just quickly show you that. Stainless steel nozzle is more of a specialty nozzle. Now this is a 0.4. Can you see that okay, guys? It's a 0.4. This will thread into most blocks. So this is brass underneath a stainless steel coating. So these are coated. They are not completely stainless steel. You're never going to get a completely stainless steel nozzle made from 100% stainless steel. But what these are for is when you're printing with those filaments that have fillers in them. Or particles such as the glow-in-the-dark, the metal-based filaments, the carbon fibers, etc., etc. You will want to step up to a stainless steel nozzle for that reason. Again, stainless steel nozzles come in a variety of sizes. The problem being with stainless steel nozzles in a variety of sizes is dependent upon the filament that you're using. So if you are using a filament that has upwards of 11 or 12% particle in it, it can sometimes clog these nozzles if you're using a smaller size. 0.4 again is pretty much the standard. 0.40 millimeters is the standard. When you're printing with higher end filaments, I would think that you should step up to a 0.5 millimeter. That way you get a nice clean flow. This also allows your filament to move better through the nozzle as well because they're coated. So there's a low friction on these. And these don't nearly expand as much as the brass ones do. So with heat, metal expands. Brass expands more so than stainless steel does. And last but not least, we're going to show you this black nozzle. I'm going to go back there now and back to the desk. And this is a hardened steel nozzle. Now, hardened steel is heat treated, of course, and that's what gives it that property. So the wear and tear on a nozzle like this is going to be far less than the wear and tear that you're going to put on that nozzle, and much less than you're going to put onto a brass nozzle. So which one is right for you? If you're printing a lot of polycarbonates, ABS, or not ABS, pardon me. If you're printing with a lot of polycarbonates, a lot of the metal-filled filaments, stuff that needs a much more robust nozzle, then I say that you should have a hardened steel. These are not cheap. A hardened steel nozzle starts at around 30 bucks. So be aware that when you're looking, you're not going to have nearly the collection of these nozzles as you are going to have, say, of a brass nozzle. Most people I know will have 3 or 4 0.4s so that they can swap them in and out fairly quickly if their machine gets clogged. That sort of thing. I'm just going to see if I can see what we got going on here. Other than the 0.4, which is your most commonly used nozzle? And Frank answered that for you. 0.4 really is the most commonly used. 0.5 is used if you want to use like the wood filament. I'd recommend a 0.5. 0.4 again is the most commonly used. As far as type of or material type, your most commonly used is brass. Again, it's dependent on the type of filament that you're going to be putting through your printer. So 0.3 is fine as well. I've used the 0.3 very successfully. What you have to bear in mind though is when you are slicing your model for conversion to G-code for your printer, is that you have to make sure that you tell that your slicer that you're using a 0.3 nozzle or a 0.5 nozzle or whatever size you're using. You have to make sure that you tell your slicer that you're using a different nozzle. If you don't, you can have catastrophic results, because what will happen is it'll try and push more material through. Let's say you forgot to change it from a 0.4 to a 0.2. It's going to think that it's got a 0.4 nozzle on there, so it's going to push through enough material that would equal the use of a 0.4 nozzle. So when you tell it that you've got a 0.2 nozzle, make sure that you have that 0.2 nozzle on there. And that's very, very important. So that being said, I'm going to just see if there's any other questions about that. Nothing right now. So really, what nozzle is best for you? Again, it depends on the material that you're using. The two most common types that I use are brass and stainless steel. I don't do any printing right now in metal filament. I do print with wood filament. I've had varied results with wood filament. I have to learn a little bit more. Yes, you do have to, great typing there, Frank. You do have to calibrate for the different nozzle as well. So if you are putting through, you want your extruder to work with or get the right steps for the amount of material that you're putting through, you're going to have to calibrate your extruder as well. Okay, so that's something I should have brought up earlier as well. I keep bouncing back and forth. Fred is asking, what are the telltale signs that a nozzle is due for replacement? Here's a great question. Telltale signs that your nozzle is due for replacement: one, that you're getting consistent clogging. If you're getting consistent clogs in that nozzle and you've cleaned it out, or you find that it's over extruding, and you've had the settings set correctly and you find that it's starting to over extrude, part of that can be because the tip on that nozzle, and I'll go back to this camera over here so I can show you much better. The tip on the nozzle will get worn down, and if it starts to go back or crush, that can be an indication that it's time to change your nozzle. Usually I find it's from over or under extrusion. That's the problem. Usually it comes in the form of over extrusion, blobbing, or consistent blobbing. Or it's just getting, you know, you've used it so much that filament is sticking to the inside. And that can happen where your filament, even though your nozzle is heated to temperature and everything's fine, you'll find that it builds up like a little ball and it doesn't have the back pressure that it needs to force the filament out. That might be a good time to change your nozzle as well. Solar flares are messing up Facebook. I agree with you 100% on that. Are there dependencies to other settings in Slicer when changing your nozzle? Yes, absolutely there are. When you go into your Slicer, let's say you've decided you're going to put on a 0.2 nozzle, and let's see if that's the one I actually grabbed. No, I grabbed the 0.5. But if you are going to, because you want a much finer outside layer, you want it to be as smooth as possible without a lot of the bumps that we get from normal everyday kind of filling or printing. Just make sure that in your Slicer you change the nozzle diameter to 0.2, 0.3, 0.5, 0.4, whichever one you're using. Make sure that in your Slicer you change that, and always recalibrate your print head in order to make sure you're getting the proper amount of plastic coming through that type of nozzle. I hope that answered your question. I really hope that answered the question. Rudy's asking, is it easier to print with bigger nozzles than 0.4 less clogging? It is easier to print, but it's going to show up in your print result. So in this case, I used, and this is done in ABS, by the way, I used a 0.4 nozzle, and I'll just see if I can bring it down there and see if you guys can see the layer lines. Let me just go over to this camera. So I don't know how well you guys can see that, but you can see that this was done at 0.2 of a millimeter, and this was using a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. So my layer lines, although I can feel them, if I were to make this a piece that I had to go and sand, and you can see them on the edge there on your screen, you should be able to see them if you're full screen. Means that if I were to take this piece and sand it out and make it look gorgeous like a production piece, 0.2 is just fine. Absolutely just fine. On R2-D2 back there, it was done at 0.2 as well. This little guy here, the MakerBot, see if I can get him into screen there. He was done at 0.2 of a layer height. So although you can see the striation, the lines in him, when you feel him, it's really tough to feel those lines that you're seeing. Now, if I were to go and finish him and paint him up and make him look all fancy and production-like, would I use XTC on this? No, not really. I'd just take some sandpaper. I would just knock down some of the higher lines and then go ahead and print him. So 0.4 is probably your best beginner nozzle to use. And I think that 0.4 is probably the best nozzle for any beginner to start using. Going up to a higher nozzle, is not necessarily going to give you smooth results. If you want to print something super fast and get it out there, by all means, go to a bigger nozzle. I think that is probably the thing that you want to do. If you're prototyping really fast and all you want to do is show somebody a sample, you may not want to print it at what's better known in the industry as medium resolution, which is 0.2. Remember that if you are putting a 0.5 on there, your 0.3 might be your medium resolution, as opposed to the 0.2 on a 0.4 nozzle. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around, but you can actually do it. Morgan says, yep, okay, great. I hope that answered your question. So with that being said, I think we've pretty much covered everything today. Yes? If you have, I'm gonna look at your questions still.
Stickers and address.
Yes, Frank's reminding me, stickers and address. So if you haven't got yourself a first layer sticker yet and you want one, these you can stick anywhere. Don't put them on your wife because she might get upset. Say, honey, you're my first layer. We have some left. And if you send me a self-addressed stamped envelope to the number below.
Other side.
Other side?
I should start putting it on that
Yeah,
side.
there we
I
go.
want to go over there.
There we go. If you send me something to that, the number below or the address below, then send me a self-addressed stamped envelope. I will send you one of these. If you are having a tough time getting postage to Canada, I have done for a couple of people like Fred, who's one of our members in our Facebook community. Fred just PayPal'd me the postage and I just made up the envelope and sent it back to him. I hope Fred's going to get his pretty quickly. So if you want one of those, just send one to the address below. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so, because every time you guys subscribe and you're active in the chat and that kind of things, it really helps out the channel. The more subscriptions we get, of course, the better it is for us. We grow the channel. I don't make any money off this channel whatsoever. I just wanted to let you guys know that, full disclosure. The fine folks here at Spool 3D who give us this wonderful space to bring the show to you guys 3 times a week, they don't charge me for the space, so there's no money changing hands for me advertising them. I do it because A, they're great people, B, they have great products, and C, they're fantastic to the first layer. So, and we kind of developed this show together. So if you haven't yet checked out spool3d.ca, you want to print it right, print it with spool3d.ca. They have everything you need from printers, filament, and all of the nozzles I showed you today, and much more. Go check out their website today at spool3d.ca. Now, I'm pretty sure we're going to get a question about the Maker Coin. We did do a Maker Coin the other day, and the contest. Here are the official rules of the contest. So there's my Maker Coin. And many of you have probably seen it already over on our Facebook page. Let me see if I can switch cameras here. So there's the Maker Coin right there. It says the first layer. Now, that layer doesn't look like it's printed very well, but that's okay. Didn't fill in. And last week, one of our community members, if I remember right, it was, let me see if I remember who it was. It was Joshua West, I believe, who said we should open it up to do a better Maker Coin. And I said, okay, let's start a contest. So here's what we're going to do. Here's the official rules. If you would like to take the first layer Maker Coin and redesign it and do something fantastic with it, by all means, you go right ahead. And here's what we're going to do is you can put the STL up on our Facebook page, which is the first layer on Facebook, and I will print out all of the STLs that come in, and we'll show them, we'll take pictures of them, we'll print them all out. And then we're going to pick a winner on the 5th of January. That's when the contest closes, the 5th of January. So we're going to pick a winner. And when we come back after our little Christmas break on January 8th, then we're going to announce the winner, and the winner will get their choice of either receiving the STLs for R2-D2, or I will print one off for you. So that's going to be what the contest is, and we're just going to line them all up. We're going to let you guys pick the best one, and if you've done one and you want to make it, you want to vote for your own when we start the voting process, we're going to start the voting on the Friday night. We're going to have it Saturday, Sunday, and on Monday we're going to see who the winner is. You guys can, by all means, submit them, and we're going to have a lot of time. Hey, Amy, thank you very much. Thank you for the comments about my lovely haircut. And yes, I don't look like a hippie anymore. And the set is actually going to be changing, guys. During our time off, we're actually going to make some huge changes to the back of the set here. And we're going to have a much better looking set, I think. And we're going to redo some of the lighting as well. So with that being said, thank you everybody for joining us. Hi, Craig. You came in kind of at the end, but again, I want to say thank you to everybody who signed up over the weekend to our Facebook group. It was amazing to see. Every day we get more and more people. We are building a very strong community here, both on Facebook and over on YouTube. And you guys are the best, because if it's not for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this show at all. And I'm glad you're enjoying the information that I put out every week. And let me just give you a quick update on what's coming up. This Wednesday, I was going to do slicing software, but I'm out of studio tomorrow. So I may end up saving that for the 20th, talking about slicing software. So I might do some, maybe we'll do a live stream on Wednesday. What the heck? Let's just hang out and do a live stream on Wednesday. I think that'll be a good idea. So this week we're going to do another live stream on Wednesday. That'll give me a chance to do some editing from everything that we're filming tomorrow. And then we've got a live Q&A on Friday. So come back for that. On the 11th, on December 11th, I'm going to show you exactly how to change a nozzle properly. How to change your print head and the nozzle, all that. I'm going to show you how to do that properly on December 11th. That's going to be a live stream, okay? Because a lot of people I found recently, just by being here at the store, that they have problems. They haven't done it quite right. And you'll notice that you haven't done it quite right when you get plastic oozing out from around the threads. So I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to take you guys through exactly how to change out a nozzle on your extruder. Okay, and then on next Wednesday, next Wednesday, you guys are going to see our results of the Trotec Laser Canada tour, and find out everything that we learned about laser printers or laser cutters. So until then, you guys have a great week, and I will see you on Wednesday. We're going to do an impromptu live stream again.